my God, do you remember that time in Memphis? When we were
Oh my God. Okay, wait. We have to tell the story.
Do you remember that time
We
in
literally
Memphis
have to
in
tell the
May?
story. Oh my God.
Are you ready to get down to earth? It's Raven Hernandez. Let's do it.
Sam Thomas, my dear lifelong friend. We are adults now, and you're sitting at a podcast with me in Los Angeles, California. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to talk to you. I'm so excited to catch up about our lives. We're two women in the same boat in different seas.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
And I think the conversation's definitely going to center around like resiliency.
Yeah.
And a lot of degrees. So, okay, you're acting and producing right now.
Correct.
Catch me up on like some of the acting stuff you've done, and then let's jump right into like what you're working on with producing.
Okay. Well, you know, I feel like where my claim to fame is I spent 3 seasons on Tyler Perry's Ruthless on BET Plus and BT.
That's right.
That was a great experience.
And that was your first like big one?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
What was the show about?
Honestly, it's about a cult.
Oh, good.
And my character was trying to escape, and she does, and she does.
Success.
So that was just, you know, really interesting, especially coming from, you know, my parents, like a very Southern Baptist country family who loves Jesus.
Pop still owes me $20. So.
He does.
Yes.
I can't wait to call him to be like, guess who I was with?
Yeah.
And she still wants her $20.
He bet me that if I deferred from law school that I wouldn't go back and actually go to law school. And I said, all right, let's put money on it. And unfortunately, I won. I feel like
it was rooted in love, though, because he wanted you to succeed so bad.
Even with over $100,000 worth of debt, you know?
Right. That's why I never went to dental school, because I'm
all right,
debt-free.
wait, so let's get into it. So you did the Tyler Perry show.
Yes, and then now I'm a freelance. Well, no, I actually produce full-time now for a TV show.
Major syndicate network.
Yeah, syndicated show for CBS.
Okay.
But then I also freelance, produce on the side, and the weekends are for projects. You know, definitely still in the indie world.
Yeah, so it's like entrepreneurial-ish.
It is. I really like it. I really enjoy it. I have a documentary short that's releasing in the next month about Black and brown police officers' experiences in the LAPD.
What's it called?
It's called Black Before Blue.
Black Before Blue. That's such a good title.
Yeah.
I
It's
love that.
a conversation with retired and active police officers with just some of the things they went through on the job that they faced, and we spoke about things that are happening now in America, and just a really good perspective that I don't think the average person thinks about, because there's a human behind the badge.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, there's like the one layer of being a police officer.
Yeah.
And then there's a layer of being a police officer within a community that maybe has some, you know, history with police officers.
Yeah.
And then being in that community and, you know, representing a person of color. It's like, there's a lot of layers there.
And for the group that we interviewed, you know, most of them were retired. They were a lot of the first Black anything in the LAPD.
Yeah.
The first Black chief of police, you know, so they were in rooms that no one else was in at one point. And so it was just really inspiring to just see what they went through to get to where they reached, and how they opened the doors for so many others. Like there were women who weren't even eligible to be in the LAPD at one point. And to hear their stories of what they went through, where they were like, well, you know, you're Black, right? Well, you're also a woman. Well, we already have a woman. We don't need you. So just to hear those stories, you just so much respect.
I feel like we are that generation that our parents and the generation before them had to actually really work down to break barriers. Whereas like, it's still hard for us. Like, don't get it twisted. You know, we still have those same barriers, but it's not like that, you know, like we're the first, but our first, like our titles are like way bigger versus like, oh, we were the first just employee at this company that was, you know, a woman or a person of color. It's like, no, like now we're like the first C-suite, or we're the first, you know, founder, or whatever the case may be. It's like getting bigger.
Yeah. And I think our generation, we are going on non-traditional paths. You know, I feel like even for my own journey, you know, my dad wanted me to be a dentist. He wanted me to go to school, and I chose to do something that nobody in my family has done. I mean, look at what you're doing.
Yeah, let's paint the picture for everybody listening. So Samantha, how many people are in your town? Like 100,000?
Not 50? Even that many. Okay. 50? All right. We're not gonna. All right. It's one high school, one middle school.
Yes.
Walmart is our biggest store.
Shout out Wally. And Dad has had a practice for a very long time. Is the
one of two in the town.
And so you either go to Dr. Thomas or you're tripping, basically.
Or you go somewhere else, or you drive somewhere else.
Yeah. And so that's where you grew up.
Yes.
And you went to Nashville School of Arts.
Yes.
In Nashville. So you had to like play the system in order to even get to that school because it's like what, an hour away?
It's an hour away. I mean, you know, I ended up living with my grandfather and aunt, you know, so that I was able to go. There's a lot of politics in that little town. A lot of racism, blatant racism. My mom ended up even, you know, suing the school district and winning for racism. Yeah, I don't even think.
No, I don't know. Like, what happens?
Again, just politics. You know, my mom has 2 masters and a doctorate, and there was a new superintendent in place who basically moved my mother back to a PE teacher.
Oh my gosh.
And it was pretty wild.
Did she win?
Yeah, she won the lawsuit. Yeah.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Damn right. So that's interesting that you say that your mother has a master's and a doctorate. I heard a recent statistic that Black women specifically are the most educated with the most amount of debt.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think there's 2 parts to that. I think one, the most educated is because I feel like there's so many barriers for a Black woman to overcome. We don't get the same opportunities. And if we do, we have to be even more qualified to even have the opportunity. So I think more Black women are reaching for higher heights because they want more and they deserve more. And I think the debt part is its own entity for the fact of, you know, when you look at the Black community, I don't know what our generational wealth looks like as a whole.
Yeah.
If I just look around my own community, I don't see much of it. So therefore, you have people who are coming from less who need more. So that's why they have higher debt. You know, I was very fortunate to go to undergrad with 2 undergrad degrees for free, you know, and that was part of my decision of not going to dental school. I wasn't sure that I wanted to be a dentist. And I was like, I don't want to be in $500,000 of debt for something I'm not sure about.
Yeah. No, I mean, I totally respect that. And I think that's kind of, but it's unique because most people in our situations, I mean, even where I went is like, I thought the pinnacle of success was being a lawyer. I thought that was the ceiling. And so I was like, all right, I'm the kind of person that can go and make stuff happen and I can execute. And so I'll go do it. And then I got there and I was like, wait a second. Have I been lied to? Like, what else is out there? There's so much else out there. And I feel like I've always respected you and I've always looked up to you because you were brave enough to question this. Like, I remember when you were going and applying and then didn't go. And you were like, hey, I'm going to go move to LA and become an actress. And I remember like everyone just being like, oh my God, like, what is Samantha doing? You know, and you being like, no, I'm going to go.
Everybody was like, but that's what you do. Like, you're going to be a dentist. And I'm like, nah.
I'm good. And you did it though. But like, you did it. Do you feel like you found your footing in LA? Do you feel like you're thriving in the place of like, you can tell the people that had doubted you a little bit and been like, okay, she'll go back and be a dentist. Like, are you ready to be like, all right, look at me now?
You know, sometimes it really takes leaving your environment to appreciate your environment.
Yeah.
I don't even care to have that type of energy or attitude because it's one of those situations. I mean, if you look at your own journey, I mean, I've admired you from how independent you were so early, even though it was in some ways forced upon you. I had to grow up. Part of me leaving Tennessee was like, I went to the same doctor. My dad was always my dentist. Like, even things like, where do I go get an oil change? Like, those things make you grow up.
Yeah.
And I think when I look back, it's like, I'm very proud of myself. It's that battle of like, I'm very proud of myself of what I've accomplished, but there's also so much more I want.
So much more.
So much. Because then it's like when you leave, you get exposed to all these things. Yeah. And you know, what we were talking about, like, oh, they were the first. I feel like you look at us now and we have limitless amounts of careers we can do.
Literally. I look at anything and I'm like, oh, I could do that. I could do that. I could do that. And like before, growing up in the South, I think that's like, it's the beauty and the negative of being in the South, right? It's like you do kind of grow up in this safe, comfortable community where everyone smiles and waves. And you've got like underlying racism and discrimination, but it's always a smile in your face. But at the same time, everyone like is not pushing the boundary. It's very difficult from our company perspective to actually hire in Nashville, like find talent. Like it was very difficult because I feel like sometimes in the South, like they don't need to make a couple $100,000 a year in order to survive and have a decent life. So why try? You know, it's like, I can make 50 G's a year and be fine. So I'll just do that. And you've really stepped out of that completely.
Yeah. I mean, if I could go back and tell 18, 19-year-old us that we would be sitting in a house in, what is this, West Hollywood? Where are we at right now?
In the hills.
That we would be in the hills doing a podcast about the
like,
careers
damn
we
right.
have. I'd be like,
drunk in love. Oh, remember?
Oh, gosh.
Remember. Okay,
Those
so
are the
for
days.
everybody who doesn't know, because probably most of you don't.
They don't.
They don't know. Sam and I were Red Bull girls in college, and it's like one of those things that you almost wear with a badge of pride, and also like a little bit of, but also a little bit of like embarrassment at the same time.
I'm not embarrassed.
A little
I tell
bit.
people all the time.
But remember
I was on the wings team.
Remember the very end when like you're like about to graduate college, walking around with 30 cans of Red Bull on your backpack, and you're like, nah, this ain't it, fam. Like at the very end, when
I
you're
feel like that was the best college job to have.
I paid my bills. I I had a whole apartment with a whole bunch of bills. I paid for everything with that money, and we were making like
We were doing decent.
Yeah, it was
this is back when I think minimum wage in Tennessee was like $6,
and we were
like
12, 13.
13. We were balling for college students.
Yeah, so we did that together, which means we traveled around the South. We went to Florida together and like so many different things. And in that, we both were like these very opinionated people who had their own journey, but like always were still like in the same room of like supporting each other. And I think
always
that's what's been so cool, I think, from Red Bull and branding perspective, is that they did create this culture of women specifically like within the wings team that worked together and figured it out and made decisions on their own and like really empowered women, which has been really cool to look back on. Like
100%.
It's a very cool job.
And I think about all of the women we worked with, how I probably would have never met them or known them, and how somehow Red Bull found this group of women who could work together so well and have this through line of like
most of the positions at Red Bull were women that we interacted with. Yeah. Which is like, especially even back then. And for a company like who has a culture of partying, I feel like having women at the forefront is also probably important. So
and they were like badasses too. Like they did very well at their jobs.
The people who got in trouble the most were the guys. Remember?
Yes.
We ain't gonna blast. We ain't gonna blast anything
we won't say
else.
Names, but yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, things happened. Things happened. People drank when they weren't supposed to. That's me blasting. No, okay. So you've been on this journey of really like stepping outside your comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
And acting and producing after you're basically everyone you knew was like, wait, what are you about to do? You didn't even really warn anybody. You just did it. And I think I'm kind of curious of like, why? Like where in your path, like what was your heart telling you? Like, why did you do that? Like, how did you find the courage?
I give a lot of credit to my, relationship with God. I graduated and I had these 2 degrees and I had like personal accomplishments under my belt. And I felt like everybody was around me like, good job. And I just wasn't happy. Like on paper, it was like, I got this 2-bedroom apartment, my car like paid off. Like I was doing well.
You were doing it.
But internally, I just was like, I'm not happy. My first job out of college was with kids all day. Taught me so much about myself and children. But I used to like cry on my lunch break.
Are you serious?
Go back in there. And I went to my mentor, Mignon Francois, owner of the Cupcake Collection in Nashville. And I was like, I'm not happy. And she was like, if there was something you could do every day for free, like you don't have to worry about any bills, everything's taken care of, what would you do?
Yeah.
And I said, well, I would probably act. And she was like, let's act. And I got into acting class in Nashville while I was still working as a dental hygienist. And I went back to like my old agent because I was a kid actor. And so I went back to my old agent, started like working again, got headshot, just like got back in the motions. And then I was scared. I was still scared to go because I had my parents in my ear. Like I didn't even really tell them, but you could see me like getting back into it.
Like, what is she doing?
My parents were like, okay, so are we taking the DAT? Like, what's up? And the whole time I'm like plotting like,
let me put this money over here so I can do this. Let me do this.
And so I finally told them. And at the time there was this guy I met a night I was with you at a concert.
Oh, yeah.
I met a guy and I was having a conversation and he was like, so why don't you just save up money and go? He made it seem so easy. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, that's not what we do out here. Like, I'm from the South, baby. Like, I got to go to school. Like, and I ended up breaking my lease, and I moved home with my parents, and I saved like 15 racks in a matter of months. And I was like...
And they knew that they
finally
knew you
told
were
them.
saving money for that.
They were so sad, though, because I was at home. I was like helping them like cook. I was working at this office in Franklin that I loved.
So they were like, oh, this is a great time.
They were like, she's about to stay.
Yeah.
Because
and then
I loved my job. The job I went to, I ended up loving it. I love the people.
Which is like almost like a test, right?
It
like
was.
God was like, all right, here's a comfortability place that you're going to be able to rocket ship off of. But almost it was like the test of, okay, are you going to stay in this complacency?
And you know what's crazy is I was about to. And then I found myself internally getting like frustrated. And I called my mentor again, love her. And she was like, well, Samantha, you would stop talking to somebody too if they weren't listening. I was like, thought you drug me. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And it was my birthday gift to myself. I don't even remember how old I was turning then.
What was your first place like?
I lived with a family.
You lived with like
I lived with a family.
Or like you didn't know these people?
I did not know these people.
Girl, and I know how you are. Like, I know how you are about people.
Listen.
Like, you barely like people in your own place, let alone living in other people's. Okay, wait,
Listen.
so how did you find these people?
I'm telling you, it was all just like, God, I have to give him the credit. Like, I called the one person who I knew I had never even visited LA.
Oh my gosh.
I called this girl who used to babysit me, and I had donated to like her dress foundation, and she thought I was calling her for a dental school recommendation letter. And I was like,
oh,
actually, I hadn't even told my parents yet. I was like, actually, I think I want to move to LA, and I wanted to see like the vibes. Like, could you show me around? And she was like, I don't live there anymore. And for like half a second, I was crushed.
Yeah, you were like,
but she was like, but my
do?
best friend lives there, and I actually think he needs somebody to like watch his house and his kid because he travels a lot for work.
Yeah.
Emmy award-winning writer.
Amazing.
His name is Chris Silber. Love him. I will always give him credit for like looking out. And I flew out here, met him and his son and the dogs one weekend. And then the next time I came back, it was with all my stuff.
With the Camry.
Yeah. It was a Corolla, but yeah.
A Corolla.
Yeah.
Corolla Camry.
And I was so sad. I was so sad.
When you moved?
What? Yes. I was depressed.
Why? If you were chasing your dreams.
Well, that's the thing. It's not pretty. And I think that's...
it's so not
and
pretty.
especially in today's world of social media... People are like, oh, you make it look so easy. I'm like, no, honey, I was crying every day.
This is
for
tough.
Like
this
2
is
months.
so tough. I literally was just at an event that was like honoring women in business and and I looked so cute. I looked so good. My hair and my makeup.
Period.
And I was having a flare up. And the entire time, I just wanted to cry. And it was like, I think it was like almost stress induced too.
Probably.
Because the flare up, the most amount of pain it had was at the event. And so I'm literally at the event just like
struggling.
Absolutely miserable. But you don't see that, right? You saw the cute picture of me.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like, what am I supposed to say? Like, I'm having a flare up right now. Like, I am miserable.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you should be thankful that you're there in that room and that you're being honored to suck it up and smile.
Yeah.
It's like what it feels like sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly wish more people were more honest about their journey. I mean, I think there's a fine balance with like oversharing. I personally have taken the more private route on social media in the past few years because being out here and just seeing people get caught up in it, it makes me keep those who I love closer to me. And even with like the show, random people DM me or like will send me pictures of my niece back, and I'm like, I don't like this. This is weird. But I wish people were more transparent about like, this is hard.
Yeah.
It's hard following your dreams.
Yeah. I try and do that with like people that I interact with on a casual basis. So I go to the Soho Nashville to work out when I'm in town. And the other day I was walking in, they're like, hey Raven, how's your day going? And I was like, actually, it's really tough. And they were like, thank you so much. And I was like, for what? They're like, just for like saying something besides it's good, great, how are you, you know, like the normal. But it's almost like we've trained our brains to just be like on autopilot. Everything's fine, keep moving forward, because there is this, you know, and at least from where we come, there is this struggle of like, we have to make it, you know what I mean? Like we have to make it out of the situation. So just smile and get through it, because it's been 10 times harder for everyone before us. It's like, we got iPhones, we got the computer, we have Air One. Life ain't that bad. You know what I mean? True. Like it's not that bad. We have the ability to find out anything anytime. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to have this balance of realness of like, actually I'm not doing good, but also gratefulness, which I think sometimes is like hard.
Yeah, and I think you have to just really also be in tune with yourself too, to know what days to push through and what days to give yourself rest. You know,
What does rest look like for you?
these days I would say rest looks like putting my phone completely away.
Yeah.
Like my birthday was the other day, and the night before my brain was like just like moving up all the stuff I needed, the documentary with like work, all the things. And I just plugged my phone up in the living room, and I was like, tomorrow I'm just going to start my day. I'm going to wake up when I feel like waking up, and I'm going to start my day with God. And I just like sat in silence, you know, calmed my mind, you know, meditated, did some breathing. I think you just have to really be in tune with yourself to know what you need, because that's the way you're able to push through, especially when you are doing something that nobody else around you is really doing. You know, like I have some of my closest friends are still back in Tennessee, and they support me in several ways, emotionally and things like that. But there's days where you really can't call anybody because they don't know. They don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know.
Yeah.
Or you have your friends who have succeeded in their career, and it's like they forgot, because it's like they've been on the other side for so long.
Yeah, just
they forgot.
Just move to California.
Yeah,
you know,
you know, it's just like, oh no, like just email the casting director. Who is doing that? I don't know her like that. Like, thank you so much.
Great, awesome. That's great advice.
So,
I'll get on that right now. I know, like, I've been meeting different types of like famous investors, and people are like, oh yeah, so they're investing, and I'm like, no, just because like there's a picture on IG doesn't mean that like I've made it.
We got that pick off. But
Yeah,
that
like I hustled for that picture.
Yeah, like I chased him to the car.
Literally, but that's about it. So yeah, there is definitely a balance of like utilizing social media in a way that portrays. It's difficult to portray realness, though. Like, who wants to like portray the ugly?
Right. It doesn't look cute, right? It's not an aesthetic. It's not a vibe.
It's not a vibe. It is not a vibe.
How do you feel? Do you feel like people back home like look at you a certain way now?
For sure. I just had to, this is so funny that you asked me this. One of my employees, I was in Austin this past week, and somebody mentioned, like we got on the conversation of like, oh, Raven has a lot of friends. Like that's what they assumed. And I was like, no, I started this company basically so I could have friends. All of you are my friends. And they're like, wait, no, like you're so popular. Like everyone I'm like, no, those people who say they know me or say that they're my friends, like they now have a reason to be my friend. But before, I wasn't ever anything to them. Like, you know what I mean?
And then don't let you like not be friendly. Then it's, she changed.
She's so stuck up. I'm like, first off, we were never homies. We were never cool. And the only reason you're talking to me is because like you see me, you know, doing something. You just see me doing something. It's like, okay, well we can, and I love a good collaboration. Like even if we're not cool, it's like, let's collaborate, let's work together. But don't take it so far as to be like, you know, oh my God, Sam, this woman, there's a person that utilizes our service, and I don't even know if I should tell this story. I don't know if it'll be removed, but this person is in Nashville.
Okay.
And the first time that they rode with us, I think it was Peter was the driver.
Okay.
Peter, my husband / co-founder, producer of this podcast.
Yes, come on, Peter.
So he is in the car, and these two people get in, a woman and a man, and the woman's like, oh, I know the founder and da-da-da. And he's like, oh yeah, you know Raven? He's like, yeah, I gave her a job, you know, when she was in college. I gave her this internship. I'm so glad to see like people like succeeding off of, you know, these opportunities that I gave them. And so I'm thinking like, okay, you know, I had opportunities that were given to me ish.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, who was it? And he's like, oh, I don't know. Remember, it was like earlier today, like look up the ride. So I'm looking through all these rides and I'm like, I don't know any of these people. And he's like, oh, it was that person. So I go and look up this person's name, Sam.
Did you know them?
No, I had never met them. I had never met this person.
Are you positive?
100. And how would I not forget it? How would I forget an internship? How would I forget it? So then the best part is later, like a couple months later, I was her driver because I was still doing drive.
Same thing.
She didn't even know. She was like, oh yeah, I know Raven. And I'm sitting there like, this is so awkward. Like, how do you, like, what? Like that was like the pinnacle of like, okay, this is going to get weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like being a face, being a name, it's going to get weird.
Yeah.
I also had someone recently offer me $7,000 a week if they would be my sugar daddy. I did inquire about the job description. I'm kidding.
Was this a DM?
It was a DM. You ever get those?
All the time.
Do you ever just want to be like, for what? Like, what do I have to do? Like, what? Like,
No,
just let me know.
I don't
Like, I'm
even
just
entertain
curious. Like, is it 1 foot picture
I
a
always
week?
thought it was scammers.
But what if
Because then they're like, what's
real?
your bank account?
Okay, yeah, that's a scam.
Because I always thought that that's how they get you. Like, I thought that was like the bait.
Yeah.
Of like, I want to be your sugar daddy.
Well, I'll take it. I mean, as long as I don't have to do nothing or talk to you. I'll talk to you for 15 minutes
No,
a
they're
week
gonna
about
they're
business.
gonna take your bank account information and they're gonna take it.
A prince in Nigeria.
Oh, that's so. Come on, Raven. You can't do that.
I will be your wife. You will be my wife.
I'm not gonna let you do this accent.
No,
Stop.
it's not good. Okay.
No.
We'll cut that. It happens though. You know, I love a good hustle. I think that's the true moral of the story. Is like, I do love a good hustle. I think,
You've always had hustle, of course you
man,
do.
that's almost like my downfall too, though, because I'm trying to hustle everything. Like, I feel like you got to know when not to hustle.
100%.
Which, you know, like, I'm trying to hustle I'm trying to hustle a parking spot. Like today, when I went down Hollywood, I
Yeah.
literally was like, I know for a fact I should not park here. Like, I know.
Did you end up parking on the
I
street?
did. I parked on the street.
You
I
put your
my-
hazards on?
Yeah. No, actually, no. I didn't put my hazards on. There was a guy in front of me who was sitting in his
And you
car
told him to
without
watch
his
it.
hazards on. No, I jumped into the passenger seat and walked
Of
out
this-
the car like I was the passenger of my car.
Oh, I'm like, I know you did not.
No, I walked out
Okay.
the car like I was a passenger. So I was like, this will be quick. And I ran my little heart out.
Did you call them?
You
knew where to go.
I called them and they didn't even answer. So I ran in
I'm just
there.
happy you didn't get towed.
I believe that
Parking people be out.
I believe that the universe has a higher is looking out for me. There's a
It's
higher
very fair.
there's a higher presence that's looking out for me when it comes to parking specifically.
You just got to know when to play with that higher.
It had been 3 years since I had been back to LA, and that weekend I had a car and I got $200 worth of parking tickets.
See?
So it put me on check. I
Yeah,
was like, I'm back
yeah.
in LA.
Yeah, you
you
gotta know. You gotta
have
know
to pay the
when to
parking
play with it.
spots.
Yeah.
What have you been hustling lately? Like, what do you feel like one of your hustles is right now? Like, I feel like your hustle changes as we get older.
That's very
Blast you. I'm about to
I
blast
know,
you.
like, girl. I actually don't feel like I've been hustling lately.
Nothing.
I think that I have actually been trying to move with so much purpose and intention lately
Okay, call me out.
that, like, no.
Call me out.
I'm not saying that. I'm not calling you out at all. I think that there's seasons for everything, and I do be having seasons where I be playing. I be playing. Like, I just was like, hey, I can come on set. What you need? Like a little hair, makeup. I am not a makeup or hairstylist, but it was just
But you
like,
can
what's
do
up?
it.
Like, what y'all need? Like, y'all need a little COVID compliance officer. Like, what can I do for you? Like,
COVID compliance
like, what do you? Like, you need to check
Just
the
get me
COVID
in the
test.
door.
Just
Get
like,
me in the door.
Like, what's good?
Oh my God.
But I feel like lately, I've just been. I feel like I've had a season of like rest, and especially like transitioning to my full-time position with the show.
Amazing.
I really just needed to like check in with myself. Shout out to therapy. I think everybody should be in therapy.
I remember when you started.
Yeah.
When you moved out here almost, or like right
No,
before.
I
Was
just
it-
started
was it-
this year.
so you were talking about it.
I was talking about it for years.
You were talking about it in
But
2000.
but baby girl finally got to the point where it was like, no, we need to go now.
We need to do this.
We need to go right now.
So you started talking about it in like 17, 18.
I
And you
did.
just, okay, good for you.
But 2022 was the year.
It was like,
We
that's
made
the
it.
one. We did it.
We
We
made
did
it.
We have a therapist and we
Yeah.
are producing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And-
I mean, I'm still auditioning and acting.
Yeah.
But you know, with acting, there's only so much you can control.
Yeah.
And I think that is really like the space that I think people have to recognize when they are hustling or when they are working towards things. You really have to pay attention to like, can you control this or can you not?
Yeah.
Because don't beat yourself up over things that you literally have no control over. Like, you know, for what I do, it's like, okay, you want to be an actor. I have so many people who hit me up about acting. And I'm like, all right, are you in class? Well, no, like I just been like on YouTube. No.
If you're not in class and you're not taking yourself seriously.
That's what I'm saying. You know, it's like there's work
It's a
that's
craft.
required
Yeah.
to do. Like that's disrespectful to the people who are out here working. You know, like how can you sit here and say Viola Davis is your favorite, and she talks countlessly in interviews about her training and her craft and the work she does and the hours she puts in, but you just want to go be in.
Show up and just make it happen.
You just want to be in How to Get Away with Murder for free for whatever reason, straight
Ain't
vibes.
happening.
So I think that there's a lot of work that's required of when you're trying to pursue something. And sometimes you have to be careful moving out of lack. Like just trying to
Like
get it anyway.
scarcity?
Yeah,
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
like a mentality of like, I'm just trying to get it. It's like, okay, well take a second, be still, calm yourself, because you can be on a treadmill and be running all day and you're not going anywhere. Like, I think it's Denzel Washington, don't quote me on that. Somebody has a quote about don't confuse movement with progression, because you could just be out here doing whatever, but it's like, but
Also,
are you
J.
moving?
Cole says,
What he say, girl?
he said, we came a long way, but we went the wrong way.
Exactly. He did say that.
He did.
He did say that. I forgot what album, but I can hear it in my head.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's facts.
It is.
Because you look, I tell people all the time when it comes to LA, like, my number one advice to people is don't get caught up in the hustle of living in LA.
Yeah. It's
Like,
so hard.
it's so hard.
Even the way you drive. Like, do you ever go back to Nashville and like start honking your horn at people and you're like, they're not going to move? Like, this ain't LA. They don't have to run a red light 4 cars deep.
They don't.
They don't have to. Like, you get back to Nashville, you start running lights and like skipping
Hey,
stop
I made a
signs.
U-turn in Nashville. I was like, hold on, I don't think I can do that here. Let me calm down.
Wait a second.
I
Wait a
started looking around
second.
for the police. Like, I'm sorry about that, y'all.
Yeah. Wait.
I know that ain't normal.
I'm back. Like, it literally takes me 1 or 2 lights to be like, woo, wait a second. Don't
run that yellow light.
You don't have to.
It's a green one coming, baby. It's a green one
in
coming.
2 minutes, and you're gonna make it. Like, you're not gonna sit at the same light for 40 minutes and not make it. Yeah, no, I love it. It is very something unique about being out here and just like pursuing your dreams. I feel like that's the one thing that small towns miss, is like there's just not enough opportunity to pursue. And I feel like the internet is definitely helping that and connecting us, and things like YouTube. Like, if there isn't a great acting class in your city, you can start with YouTube. But if you're serious, you got to go find where your people are. You got to go find your tribe. You know, maybe they aren't in South Dakota, Alabama, wherever, you know, maybe you got to go to the big cities. So I'm curious what acting classes you would recommend. And are you specific to like the fact that you are a woman and a woman of color? Like, does it play a role in who you try and go and learn from? Or you're just like, anyone can teach anybody?
I don't think anybody can teach anybody. I don't think that. There's so many methods in acting. I feel like even with all the places I've trained, I take a piece of it from everywhere. I'm not just doing one method. I'm taking a piece from what I learned over here, and then with this person over here, like, you know, scene study, you know, audition technique.
So go to as many different classes as you can.
I don't think that is the best either. I think you can get to a point in acting classes where you start to get comfortable. Like, even something simple like if you wanted to stay at like a studio, just get a different teacher, because at a certain point you do get comfortable. And I think in acting you should never really get comfortable, because part of it is always being able to play, finding something new in the script, finding something new in the scene. And when you're on set, you don't know what you're going to get. So you really have to live in the moment, you know? I mean, in Nashville, to answer your question, I started at the Fourth Wall Acting Studio and Nashville Acting Studio. I think that they're 2 great places for people in Nashville to learn from. I love William and Caroline. They helped me, you know, they told me where to get headshots. You know, they ended up helping me get my, when I changed agencies. And actually, the film that gave me my SAG eligibility, I only got because Caroline knew the director and he was telling her what he was looking for, and she was like, I have a student who's like that. So
maybe even sometimes being in a smaller city can be beneficial if the people there are really gonna ride with you and rock with you.
Facts. I think Nashville has like an amazing collaborative acting community, 100%. And I know, I don't know if Nashville Acting Studio does this as much as Fourth Wall does, but again, this is years ago, 5+ years ago.
Don't date yourself.
I know. But at Fourth Wall, people would like make their own projects and shorts, like short films.
Yeah.
And
so then you were getting work.
But beyond like the on camera work, it was also just like the hustle, like just being around people who wanted to make it and make things and make it good. You know, that was my first time experiencing, you know, what people were really doing behind the scenes, because when you're on like a real set as talent, you really are just there as like talent, versus when you're there with your friends just trying to make something. You're
doing it all.
We gotta black out these windows somehow. Like, how do we do it? It's like you're problem solving, and you get into like the whole process of making something, and then it makes it even more special when it was like, this probably should have took us 8 hours max to make. It took us 14, but we did
made it happen.
Yeah, like,
and we did it affordably.
but we did that. Like, we did it, and that's what I love about Nashville. Like, people will have auditions and will hit the group and be like, hey, I got a tape. Can somebody do it? And people are like, yeah.
I love that.
LA is not like that.
No. It's one for all and all for one.
100%.
It is. Because it's so deep. You know, I mean, everything out here is so dense. And so it's like, I kind of get it in the sense of you got to find a couple people that you rock with and just root for them, because you can't root for everybody. And I think that's what's been kind of hard for me as I've transitioned into this different space of like being an entrepreneur and having a lot of people in my company. It's like, I can't give everybody time. You know, I can't do that. I had an employee who said something about the fact that like I wasn't always at the office, and like, why isn't she always at the office if it's her company? And I'm like, first off, this is my office. Hello, hi, it's my computer. I'm with her 24 hours a day. She's never not near me, you know? And so it was like, it made me sad though, because like I do want to be with all of you at all the times. Yeah, I want to give every single piece of me to every single person in my company, but I can't, because I still got to go do it and bring the customers in and the investors in and and it's like trying to find who. It's really difficult, and I feel like I've watched you navigate this well. Is like determining not necessarily who's worth your time, but where your time should sit.
Yeah,
you know,
and it's such a finesse to it.
It's so tough.
It's such a finesse, because you have to make people aware to like, I do love you. I just don't have the time or the capacity for this. I mean, let me ask you this. I mean, you are the boss. I don't know if you hire personally everybody who works at your company. Do you feel like in your own company, do you feel like you find struggle with people respecting you as the boss as like a woman and a woman of color?
And a young woman?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No, and
Not internally.
I do hire. I am part of the hiring process at certain stages, and then I do meet everybody. So I do have this practice, which I picked up from Sherry Deutschman, who wrote Lunch with Lucy, this book, because she was an entrepreneur who sold her company and exited for like $50 million. Okay. So she has some interesting things to say, and I took them, and she would have lunch with all of her employees. It was like, she wasn't having lunch as the CEO. She was having lunch as their friend, Lucy. Okay. And so they would show up to lunch, and they could bring their wife, their kid. They could go to wherever. They could do whatever. It was their lunch. It was like, however you want to do it, let's do it. And so obviously I can't do that, but I have my own 15-minute where I'm like, hey, let's just talk about whatever you're doing. I want to know about you. And this one girl. That's nice. I love it. It's so much fun because it's my way of being like, how can I help you personally? Like, you are here building this company with me. And I know that I'm just paying you like an hourly rate or a salary, and it's not necessarily helping you get to your dreams per se. For some people, it's just a job. So it's like, well, what are your dreams? And like, how can I pour into you in the ways you're pouring into me? And so I had this one employee recently who without giving too many like descriptions of this person, she was in a field, and that position had started to go away, but she wanted to stay in that field, and she couldn't find anything. And on top of that, she had just moved to Nashville for that job. So it was like a double-edged sword. Yeah. And so I was like, all right, well, let me just see who in my network, like, here are a couple people. Go look in my network. If there's anyone you think would be of interest, like, let me know. And she did. So she did the work. And I was like, all right, now write me an email. And she wrote it, and I didn't like it. So I was like, write another one. And I forwarded it to this girl, this woman that I thought she would be a great fit for, and she hired her. And I was just like, yes. I was like, that made me feel so good. Like, there's something so personal about like doing that type of work where I was like, hell yeah. So I feel like the team respects that. Now, I have had employees that I had to let go for lack of respect, because it was like, look, if you're here, you got to be here for the right reasons. Yeah. And that's something that I quickly learned, and I'm sure you've seen, is like, you got to fire people fast. And it's not, it ain't something that like you want to do. It's just like, look, this is going to be better for you. This is going to be better for me. This is going to be better for everybody. Yeah. It's like, if you don't want to be here, then you have to go, because then next thing you know, you're not doing your job, and then you're causing the next person who likes their job to not do their job. And we don't have time for that. We do not have time for that. Yeah. And I feel like it's been tough. It's been a challenge. I mean, starting a company at 25, 24 and having people twice your age being like, all right, what are we doing, Raven? And I'm like, I don't know. We're going to figure it out, though. Yeah. Are you pretty much one of the youngest people on set sometimes as a producer?
Now that I'm not the youngest for sure. Definitely not the youngest, but I am one of the younger ones.
Yeah.
For sure.
Do you feel like I feel like the woman thing happens more often than the age thing for me. As I've had, especially in the South, where I've like called somebody, be like, hey, do you have this tire size? Well, honey, what kind of car is it? Well, honey, I didn't ask you what kind of car it is. Do you have this tire size?
For me.
It's the honey. Oh, it's the honey. It's the
honey
sweetie.
for me. The sweetheart.
Or the knee tap. You ever have somebody tap you?
But I think that's also still like a Southern thing.
For sure.
I think, unfortunately for the women who went through it, but fortunately for my timing, I think #MeToo like really shook up Hollywood for sure.
Yeah.
And so I have been very fortunate to not have any like man say anything like wild to me or
no weird corners.
Yeah, like I feel like if anything, like all my like male bosses or like people around me are very much so like
by the book.
Yeah, it's still fun.
Yeah.
Still very cool, but like never demeaning.
Yeah.
Never, well, never, what's the word? Downplaying me, belittling me, nothing like that. If anything, I think they see my eagerness to like do very well because I plan on being a boss in this industry, and I think they see it. And the same way with your employee, I feel like when people see hard workers and good character, they will pour into that.
Yeah. And that was the issue. That particular employee just hadn't, this person had just missed the like super duper Raven hustle in the streets doing everything. And I just came into like a different transition at that time. And so this person was like, well, why do I got to do all this? She ain't done all this. I was like, actually, you just weren't there. Like you didn't see the 2,000 rides that I've done in this company. And I would continue to do that. But unfortunately, I can't do the rides and the payroll and the marketing and the it's like, yeah, it's definitely a balance. It's definitely a balance. So I'm kind of curious, what is this year's goal? Like in the next year, where do you see yourself? What have you accomplished? Like what's something that you're scared to admit that you've done?
Scared to admit?
Like you don't even want to say it out loud because it's like, damn, that's a big goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't even know if I want to like say
Flash
it. I'm
yourself?
so like private with like my goal. You
my
know me,
abuela's
like, I'm
literally like, don't tell nobody that you're going anywhere.
My mom tells me that you don't sell your pearls to swine. Like you don't just.
But you also have to speak it with like.
I do speak it.
You know,
I speak it. I write it. Trust me.
Just to yourself.
Not to just like me, but like in my own like personal prayer time with God. It's like I'm saying it out loud. I'm writing it down. You know what's crazy is I've had several instances. Did I say that word right?
Instances?
Did I say that right? Did my country accent just take over?
A little bit.
I don't know. I've had several times where the things that I really want, I have written down and I got it. Like my 2020 goal list is crazy.
Checking off.
No, like that year, I wrote this January 2020, like January 1st, 2020, had no idea the pandemic was coming. Yeah. And every single thing on that list happened.
Oh my gosh.
Like I literally wrote down I want to be on a network TV show and it happened.
And you did it.
Like I literally, everything I wrote down, it happened. And I just typically am very quiet about the things that I want. Cause I ain't gonna hold you. I'm really tired of people being like, I just applied for this new job, got an interview. And it's like, I kind of love it for people like, yes, bring us on your journey, celebrate. But then it's like crickets. Guess you didn't get that job. And I hate that for people. Yeah. And I just am one of those people, like, even like the documentary I just told you about, girl, that has been worked on for like, that has taken over a year of my time. Yeah. We have done the film festival circuit and everything. And I'm just now telling people publicly, like, I was about it.
Because it's tough to put yourself out there. Because it's always like this, there's also this like component of your reputation that if you start saying stuff and it doesn't happen, then like, are you a failure? Are you a has-been? Are you can't do it? Or nobody believes? You know, there's like this like really unfortunate judgment that comes along with that. So like that's, I can respect not.
Yeah, I just feel like I have no problems sharing my wins and losses with people. But I feel like when it's something that's in the making, I feel like that's something spiritually you can't attack.
So I agree with that, but I've had to unfortunately like move out of that. Yeah. Because I do have a company that like I gotta tell people. Like it's like that's the part that like is tough because I've always been like, literally my mom didn't know I had applied to 15 colleges for law school. Like I was just like, oh, here's the acceptance letters. And she was like, what? Like,
that is how you used to move.
I used to move like that for sure.
That's how
and I
you
feel
used to
like
move.
that's a little bit tough for me to do now. Because it caused friction in the company of like, you don't communicate. And I'm like, ugh.
That's fair though. You got to talk about goals.
It's totally fair. It's fair because you got to tell people where you're leading them. You know, it's like Moses was like, look, this is where we're going. All right. I don't know how we're going to get there. I don't know how long it's going to take. We might not have any food or water. So I don't have any plans, but this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. So it's like, that's kind of where I've had to come from. It's like, okay, well, if we're leading these people to the promised land of wherever it is of success at Earth Rides, I have to give them, the vision. And sometimes the vision changes.
It's very fair.
And so that's kind of like the uncomfortableness of like, all right, this is what I think we want to do.
Yeah.
All right, no, this isn't work. We got to go do this. And like telling the team, having people like count on you.
Yeah.
Is very fun.
But you built for this. And you've been built for this.
We're doing it. We're out here doing it.
I think it's hilarious though that both of us went to school for all those years and
Is it? Because you got out unscathed.
Facts. I don't even want to know what your dad is.
Girl. Woo! That's why I was considering that sugar daddy. I was like, so what are the qualifications?
What are the requirements?
Like, I need to know.
Do I have to give you my social? Let
as
me
long
sign
as
up.
1 foot pick a week, like we're good because those bad boys aren't even cute. If you want me to paint my toenails, I'll think about getting organic paints. But I
was like, should I just get on OnlyFans and like do like feet pictures? Because apparently that's like a thing. Not I'm over here fighting for my life to pay my bills and people out here selling feet pics.
And what even sucks worse is like where I'm at specifically in the stage. Like I'm in that like jumping off stage right before where like you got to have yourself together in order to get the jump. Yeah. So now I got to like spend money on stuff that I don't really have money to spend on because it's going to make me money.
People think it's sweet.
Woo! I'm so glad I had
That's
good credit.
really real. Like once you make more money is required to keep making more money.
Literally.
People are like, oh, Sam, you on a show? I'm like, hold on, sweetheart. The manager got paid, the agent got paid, the accountant got paid, the lawyer got paid, like the publicist got paid. There's so much that's required as you elevate.
This is what I got here.
It's like,
what's mine? Is this the
I
same
don't have
show?
McDonald's money right now. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
McDonald's. I would. Oof. Do you remember what we used to eat in the mini? Like, do you ever think about it and like get like ashamed?
I can't tell if that's like how my diet has changed. If that's like an older thing or like
a LA thing. It's a LA thing.
Is it an LA thing?
Oh yes, because what I do when I'm flying back to Nashville is I load my suitcase, my carry-on, with a bunch of Air One stuff like fruit, vegetables, snacks, pasta, or like the best organic pastas. I'm like, I'm taking all this back because y'all ain't got nothing.
Don't even get me started on the food deserts in Tennessee. I went grocery shopping in my little town, and I was like,
I can't eat this stuff.
I literally drove to Nashville the next day for Trader Joe's. I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah, it's sad. No, like that's what like the one thing that like there are a lot of good things about LA. And there are a lot of good bad things about LA. Of course, with any place.
Everything. Yeah.
But the food, the mecca, the quality of organic. I mean, I need like Air One at one point will sponsor this podcast because oh my God,
claim that for you.
We're gonna put those out. Literally, like how. They just have the best products. Like I can, and I go back and I'm like, I can't get a blueberry that was shipped in from, Mexico in Nashville. This blueberry has no business being here. This is a Mexican blueberry that should be living in Mexico.
But Nashville's making progress though.
In what ways?
Food, I thought. I thought y'all have more Whole Foods now and, more Traders. I mean, just because
Whole Foods and Trade, they don't necessarily mean quality.
But think about how much
they're used
progress.
To not being. I mean, yeah. We used to have the one Whole Foods in Green Hills.
Yeah, and that was like
and one Trader Joe's.
Like now, there's actually like
there are more options.
Acai places in Nashville, not just Smoothie King.
I went to New York and was shocked. Every single place makes their vegan milks, like their nut milks and oat milks in-house. In-house. I'm like, literally, I'm like, what kind of, like, I'm like, oh, you got almond milk in that? Well, let me see the box. They're like, what box? I'm like, the box that you, like, I want to make sure there's no guar gum. And they're like, oh, no, we make this in-house. Like, it's just straight almonds. I'm like,
almonds and water.
I'm like, this.
Yeah, I find myself, we are getting older. I'm like, I soaked my cashews. I'm making vegan Alfredo sauce. Like,
who wants to come over in 2 days for them? It's gonna be in 2 days is when I'm gonna eat this stuff.
Tonight I'm making oyster mushrooms.
Oh my gosh. What have you
Who would've
found like
thought?
with age? Like what are things that you just won't go for? Like what are things that like friend, relationship, family, like if somebody's popping off on some stuff that you used to like let slide as a younger person, like what are you now? Just be like, I don't have time for that.
Playing with my time.
Like how?
Like, for instance, the amount of people I have who will like call me for like help. Let's just give an example of like they want to act.
Okay.
Just do that. Do not call me, and if I care about you, I will take the time to give you some suggestions, and then you call me 3 months later with the same story, and you haven't done anything I've told you.
Yeah.
Don't waste my time. Don't waste my time. It's to the point now where like now I know certain questions to ask people, even like people I don't know. Like people will reach out to me to like work on projects with them for them. I have certain questions I ask
To validate that they're
to
like
validate
legit.
like, will I fit with this? And if I don't fit, I can't waste my time. I'm so sorry. I cannot waste my time. I think another thing is, this is like a less deep one. I don't really fool with dairy anymore, like at all.
Dairy.
And like I'm really proud of my parents for like adjusting. Like they drink almond milk now. Like you know them, my girl. Yeah.
Just because like health reasons?
Yeah, like just, I used to have skin issues I would deal with.
Your skin's beautiful.
Thank you so much. Shout out to my dermatologist.
Yeah.
It was a journey.
It was.
But like skin issues, hormone issues, Black women have so many hormonal problems that they go through, and people are quick to diagnose them with PCOS. That's a conversation for another podcast.
Food deserts, epigenetics.
Yeah, there's so many things.
Yeah.
And dairy was just one of the main things. I was like, I can't get jiggy with this. And so like it's really nice when I go home now that my mom will like be considerate of that. Like she won't put like cheese in the eggs.
She loves
like
you.
like she's like, well, I was gonna make Alfredo, but Sam's home, so let's do something else. So that's been pretty cool. That's like not that deep, but yeah, I would say my time for sure. Yeah, is just where I can't, and like lying. Like, but even when you ask me to come on the podcast, like I ask questions like, how long? Like, what are the talking? What are the talking points? What are we? Because I need to know, like, does this fit?
Is this in my journey right now? Yeah, because it might not be, which is okay. You know, I feel like that's something that's kind of similar to my thing. Is like I need to know what's up. Yeah, let me know what's up, and then I can support in the way that makes the most sense.
Because even though you're growing, I'm growing, people are growing, our growths are at all different points, right? So it's just like, do I have the capacity for this? And does this fit and make sense? Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And I feel like you can have people who are on these great journeys, but they just don't align and mesh. And I think that people have to really sit and, I used to do stuff just to do it. Yeah. I'm past that point now. I need to know like.
Well, it comes with, I feel like there is this stage in life where like you have to do that. Like you've got to go touch everything. Like I had someone ask me about like, how do you know what networking events you should go to? I'm like, you just got to go to all of them at first. You got to go to all. You literally have to show up to the event and be like, man, this is a waste of time. But while you're there at the waste of time event, you better go find that one person. Yeah. There's always one person.
And fully commit.
Always one person in the room. There's always one person in the room that like, maybe they can't give anything to you, but you can give something to them. And that's going to feel just as rewarding. But there's been lots of times where I like showed up to an event and I'm like,
yeah, no, you have to do that. And that's what
walk in and be
people
there.
Don't see. Yeah. They just see you on Instagram getting a shout out from somebody popular and they don't know that you've been to like 3 networking events in the past week where you met nobody. And everybody's like, I'm so excited to see you. But you have to go and you have to like fully commit. Yeah. Like I have done projects like acting wise that I pray never sees the light of day. Like
don't come out one.
But it was part of it. Yeah. Because if it wasn't for me doing certain things, I wouldn't have been able to ask, like, do you have a sound team? Because if there's not a sound team, this is a waste of my time. I can't even use the footage. Like, at one point, I was doing things just to, like, do it, meet people.
So, wait, when I told you that Peter was putting this together and that he was going to be producing it tonight, were you like, will it be good? Like, will there be?
Well, you see, I was like, is this audio? Is this visual? Like, what is this?
And because I was quick with the answers, like, you knew I was probably straight.
And then, I mean, let's be also clear. I know you well enough to know it wasn't going to be, like, whack. Yeah. Like,
I'm cool.
I did have questions like, well, who's editing this in post? But that was like my producer brain starting to weekend, and I was like, yeah, like
you could check it out.
I mean, and this didn't really require much work. It's literally having a conversation with like one of my close friends from back in the day. So it was, if anything, I was like, well, what are the requirements here? Because like, don't ask me nothing about no electric cars, honey. Because I don't know. I've been Googling.
Would you drive? But are you driving a hybrid now?
I've always drove a Prius. A Prius. Well, I used to have a Corolla in college, but then after that, I've driven Priuses.
Nice. That's very LA.
Yeah. Well, I actually had a car wreck last year. Somebody ran a light, and I was gonna get a Tesla. I ordered it and everything.
You should have hit me.
I probably should have. I really probably should have.
It wasn't meant for you. It's fine.
But by the time I ordered it, I was like, I need a car. On the website, it was like 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah. And so I placed the order. And then like
3 months later.
It was 3 months. And I was like,
what's going on?
I need a car.
Yeah.
So I got my Prius. But actually, I'm encouraging my parents to get an electric car. I want my next car to be an electric car. I have a few on my list. I saw it. I don't know if I can say that. Y'all got like a deal with a car or something?
No, we're friends with all car companies.
I just saw y'all's Mustang out there, and I was like, oh, they got that electric Mustang. Yeah.
We like it. It's nice.
Yeah. Have you seen the new Cadillac one?
Girl, I've seen them all.
Of course you have.
Girl,
this is what you do. I didn't mean to. Hope I didn't insult you.
Yeah. No, it's all right.
Yeah, we can talk off camera about it.
I'm an industry expert, as they say, in the car world. I'm all things car, which is I guess like I was always a handy person.
You always were.
Always been like, let's put some stuff together.
Facts.
Let's figure it out.
And I'll be like, Raven, immediately no. I will cook us dinner, but this what you got going? I want to be there.
Too much.
Even like popping fireworks. Remember that? I'm like,
popping fireworks?
Yes. When we lived at the house with Joe.
And I wanted to pop some fireworks? Did I pop some fireworks?
Yes, and I stood there because I was like, y'all not finna blow my hands off.
I literally don't even remember. Wait. Okay, no, I have some serious questions about acting and about producing. Like, we're going to flip it totally to left field. What is it like kissing on camera?
Haven't had to do it on camera yet.
You just did it in
acting class.
In acting class. Ooh, that would be like even worse, no? Because
I don't think it's worse because
people often.
No, I think that's even... Yeah, he was cute.
Okay, that's fair.
He was cute. I haven't done it on camera. It's a very like professional thing, though.
But like, how do you kiss someone without kissing someone?
What do you mean? You do kiss them,
but you have to like act like you like it. So you probably have to like it. You just have to act. Well,
you
like
do.
It.
I mean, it's not like I just have to act like it. There's certain people have different processes, but like for me, you know, when I've had to do scenes in class where like kissing is involved. There's conversations about it for sure.
Are you ever like, did you brush your teeth today?
You know me, 100%. If anything, I'm giving you a mint before we do the scene.
Really?
Don't play with me.
Here's a tongue scraper.
I didn't go that far, but like, yeah, here's a mint.
That's so gross.
And I've even like, I don't even know what I would do if somebody ever had like a cold sore. Because I'd be like, oh my God. Unfortunately,
sorry, with
Charlie.
The way today looks on your mouth, I'm unable to
I would say no.
Do this. Do you do any accents?
No.
No?
No.
Never. Would you?
Try.
What have you like? What have
like,
you? I've
had I auditioned for a show on Hulu, for Brooklyn, and I knew somebody who was from Brooklyn. Yeah, I'm working on that.
Wait,
Brooklyn and Boston are the two accents that I've actually had to like audition.
Do
with
I know
before.
Anybody that's in Brooklyn? I don't know.
You don't.
I don't know your people.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. But no. And it was so funny because like he was sending me, it's a guy, but it was like a girl character who's like talking to her, like gossiping to her man, and he's like sending me voice notes. It's like, and then she went to her man's house and she bust the front door open, and it's like he's like sending me voice notes to like help me with the accent, but like also talking in like this girl voice.
And so you're like, okay, let me try it again. Do you like try to do it back to him?
Well, listening is how I learn best for accents. Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah. No, that's so
I
true.
practice all the time, you know, but there's so many good British accents. I will be amazed if somebody's hiring an American actor to do like a British role. Because
you'd be shocked though. I feel like it does happen.
They're just the bomb, honestly. Like their training is just phenomenal. I give them, there's a reason why that they get as many jobs as they get. So I don't see anybody hiring my Tennessee self to be
Well, darling,
a Brit.
I definitely could be hired as a British accent person. You know, I
honestly,
am
darling, I love that for
normally Normally I'm confused for a British person sometimes.
Oh my God, do you remember that time in Memphis? When we were
Oh my god! Okay, wait. We have to tell the story.
Do you remember that time
We
in
literally
Memphis
have
in
to tell the
May?
story. Oh my god! Okay, we were in Memphis, and I have to be very serious in order to keep this accent. We were in Memphis, and it was some brothers. Wasn't it some brothers that like came up to us?
Why do you say it with their accent?
Because it was some brothers.
Why are you saying it like that?
What else was it? We was in
But
Memphis.
why could you just
I
say
had to
it was
switch
some
up.
brothers? Why you gotta
I
say
had
it
to
was
switch-
some brothers?
I had to switch
We're not
it up.
gonna. I'm not gonna let you black scent on this podcast, okay? It's 2022, baby.
Is that a thing?
It is.
That's a thing.
It is.
Oh my god! But I'm from this. That's what it was to me. It was some gentlemen callers.
Thank
Is that
you.
better? It was
Yes.
some gentlemen callers who were.
Why don't I just say it? We're on Beale Street in Memphis.
We're on Bill Street, Memphis.
Low-key in the
It was some
hood.
brothers, like, first off. And they came up to me and saying, did we pre-plan it?
No,
Did we
what
say
I
we
think
were
it
going out
was.
that night as
Well,
those
we already
people?
used to talk in British accents all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that we were in line to order a drink.
Yes.
And we said something and they like turned around and then we just like went with it.
We went with it. So these two
They was
dudes
like, "Where
thought
you
we were,
from?"
where y'all from? Da, 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 da. We're like, oh, darling, we've never been here before. We love this.
Where you
This is
from?
great.
We're from Cambridge.
I don't
Where
know
that
where
at?
I don't know. England? Oh, that was
Or,
good.
or we were like, we're from Manchester.
Manchester,
We're here for the
darling.
music festival. Do you know much around here?
He found himself a queen. He's like, I found the one. Oh my God. I cannot.
That was a
I can't believe
time.
you remembered that. That
I
was
forgot.
beautiful.
I
That
forgot
was
until you
beautiful.
started.
We've been down a full journey. We really have. Okay. I have a couple of things to wrap us up. And there's just like so much that I want to get your opinion on.
Okay. Let me be serious. Sorry. Let me
No,
be.
literally, because we went off. Okay. On a serious note, how's your love life?
It is peaceful.
It's peaceful. It's peaceful.
I was gonna like throw shade to dating in LA, but I'm like, let
Throw
me be
it.
positive. It's
Throw it.
peaceful.
Peaceful meaning there ain't nothing out here.
Correct.
Literally.
I choose peace.
Yeah, you choose. I do
Dating in
not.
LA, I feel like there's dating. There's dating as an adult, which is trash, and then there's dating in LA, which is like.
Yeah.
the
Are you on any
slums.
dating apps?
I was at one point.
On Raya?
I was for like 2.5 seconds because my boss at my show was like, show me how to work this. I feel like you'd be good on here. And then I was like, I'm not paying $19 a month for me
You have to pay?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, girl, I'm not pressed to date like that to be on here.
Nah.
I was on Hinge though.
How was it?
It was an experience.
Yeah. Would you date outside? Like, would you date in the color spectrum?
Yeah, I would.
You would?
I would struggle if it was just like
two.
only Caucasian.
Yeah.
For the fact of like, you know, I'm very just like pro-black. And it's
Yeah.
just like at
The
this,
relatability is
at this-
tough.
the relatability and like if we were to have children, you would have a black son.
Yeah.
You would have a black daughter.
And you
Like,
don't
I
know what
need
that
you
means.
to know what that entails. I'm not against it at all. They would just have to be very
In the know.
just in the know and just, you know, it would have to just make sense for me, but I'm not against it at
Yeah.
all. No.
Right now we're focused on our bread, our titles.
Yeah, I just think
Our IBDM, IBMD.
What?
Damn it.
Are you talking about IMDb?
Yeah, that.
For like-
That's what we're focused
for
on
like
right
credits?
now. Credits. We focus on stacking up credits.
I guess you could say that, but not even really. I feel like I'm just really focused on my career and doing things that are like for me. Because I'm telling you, I see it where people are just out here trying to get it anyway, and I don't want to move like that. I really don't. There's nothing wrong with it. Let me be very clear. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't knock anybody's hustle. I just want to do things that make sense.
Absolutely.
I really want to do more comedy though.
We're funny.
Yeah.
Also, I went to the Laugh Factory.
How was that?
Terrible. I didn't laugh once.
You may have went on the wrong night. You know they have different
Maybe.
nights.
I mean, there was like 20 comedians. So I thought at least
But again,
one
it's like,
person
what
could have
night
made
was
me
it? Like I
laugh.
heard like chocolate sundaes are like hilarious.
Well, but of course. Like, I feel like anything that has culture with it is going to like be
Fair.
better in life. Like that's
Fair.
like almost like, yeah,
Fair.
that's
I
literally.
even thought about doing stand up.
You should.
I thought about doing a stand up set about dating in LA.
You should do it. I would totally come.
Thank you.
If it wasn't funny, I wouldn't laugh.
I know you would not.
I literally sat there the whole time. I actually had to stop like frowning because the comedians were going on stage and I'm like third row because it's my girlfriend's birthday.
Oh, yeah, you can't be just mugging.
And I was just like this.
That's
and
hard.
I was tired.
That's
I had
hard.
been working.
Being up on that stage is hard.
Great, but like that's your job to be funny. The issue with it is every single person was making sex jokes. It was like penis jokes. And I'm just like, okay, if there's 20 of you, only really 30-45% of the whole act of everybody should have sexual, like get off top, like bring me something funny and unique. Like that's why I love Cat Williams. Like Cat Williams will always be my number one because this man can tell you a story about his kids buying shoes and it being funny. Like that's a real comedian. That's what I need. I don't need that like this girl and da-da-da-da. You know, it's just like step outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Please step outside your comfort zone. Well, I'll be there.
Thank you.
I would love to see that. Okay. How do you raise money for a documentary? Like, were you a part of that process or are you just how does that work?
So producing is, a few different things. As you see, Peter is your producer doing all the things. I don't specialize in raising funds. Mm-hmm. Are there different ways? There's different grants you can apply to? Yes. I'm more of like a line producer, like day to day. Like now that we have this budget, how do I take the vision and the script and make it happen with said budget?
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So you come in when the money's there.
Facts.
Yeah.
I'm partially interested in learning about getting the money, but I really like the logistics.
It's a hustle.
I really like, I'm not against the hustle and I admire people who do it.
Logistics is its own hustle.
Yeah, I really like
I mean?
the logistics of like, all right, we can get this sound person for this rate. We got it. Well, I'm setting this much money aside for post-production. I really like that aspect of it, to be honest. Mm-hmm. I don't the raising money part. I commend people who do it, and there's people who do it really well. It's just not. I'm not inspired to do it at all.
Yeah.
I think my Virgo brain, who's like very like calculated, just really enjoys the puzzle pieces of putting something together to like figure it out.
Yeah. Have you heard about how people are like utilizing NFTs to raise money and then sell the rights of the movie to the NFT holders?
I haven't actually.
Yeah, it's very interesting just because like it's creating this decentralized way of creating access, to people who it's like, no, I believe in this project. I believe in these actors or I believe in these producers. And so, I want to create a sound and safe way for me to invest without being a traditional investor, without having all the blockages that, if you're not a traditional investor that you have to have. I feel like that's been a really interesting, cool thing. Okay. I think my final question is going to kind of come back to like our resiliency story with having all these degrees and then being like, no, we're good. We're going to go do everything else but those degrees. I had a young woman.
Yeah.
And I'm basically going to ask the question that she asked me to you, which was she was a freshman or sophomore in Vanderbilt.
Okay.
And she wanted to go start a business.
Okay.
And she was like, do I have to go to law school? That was literally the question to me. She was like, do I have to go to law school in order to go start this business? For a lot of reasons, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many ways we can take it. So I'm just going to leave it at that of like, you are talking to an 18, 19-year-old person who's kind of like you, who wants to kind of do something different, but feels like they have to like, do I have to go get this higher education degree in order to be validated or have the knowledge to do this?
My honest question is, no, you don't have to. But why not? I don't love the debt situation that we have in America. Mm-hmm. And I because this has actually been asked to me before, actually what you're asking me. And I'm very transparent with people, and I tell them that I had the luxury of getting my degrees and not having the debt. Mm-hmm. There is a weight that I have never felt that so many of my peers feel. I don't have Sally Mae calling me and taking money out my check every month.
Yeah.
And I'm very transparent with people about that, for the fact of like, take my opinion with a grain of salt. Mm-hmm. But I do feel like every step of my journey in college and, with dental hygiene and health sciences, all of those things, they shaped me as a person. Mm-hmm. That time is a time that I learned so much about myself, but it's like No, I don't use either of those pieces of paper at all. So it's like, no, you don't have to do that at all. However, I enjoyed that process. Like, that was a part of my process. And I tell people as well, especially, you know, in the arts, it being not so secure. I have seen so many people come and go in LA in the short time I've even been here. My degree is what sustains me. When
You're
acting
able to
was not
utilize
paying
that.
my bills, oh, baby girl was definitely scraping these teeth.
I
and
saw you with the
cleaning and
famous
polishing.
folks.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's cool, but it's just like, that's a job.
Yeah.
And it's hard to go from making the type of money I would make on my show and go right back to that job.
Yeah.
I didn't have to, but I chose to, because the type of person I am, I do enjoy stability.
Yes.
Because that made me more organic in my work.
Yep.
I'm not auditioning or working on sets
For just the paycheck.
just the paycheck of
Yeah.
like, I don't know how I'm gonna pay my rent this month.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, you really don't have to go to law school. You don't have to go to undergrad. I feel like we see people all day, every day, especially in 2022, making hefty money and great careers who never went to school, because you don't have to. You really don't. But for me, and in my journey, my degree gave me support when my craft and when my dream did not.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
No, I think that's super helpful. You know, it's like, why not go get it if you have the opportunity to do so? And if you feel like that's something that is going to add value to your life and
Right.
also stability at some point. I think sometimes it is annoying. My abuela still literally will be like, you're still a lawyer, right? And I'm like, legally, yes, I am active and I keep my license active. But
Yeah.
no, like, that's not what I'm here doing. Like, I got a
Yeah.
whole company. I've been in Forbes, damn it.
Yeah.
Like,
They don't get it though.
no,
They
you
don't
know?
get it.
No.
My dad literally calls my show like, that little show, sir.
Excuse me, sir. I know you watch BET.
But more importantly, like, I'm not calling you asking you for money, Dad. So like, let's.
That, but I am, Mr.
But then-
Thomas.
But even with my, you want that $20?
I do.
But even with my answer I gave you though, I knew when to stop.
Yeah. Yeah, because you didn't,
didn't
go
go
get
to
that
dental
extra.
school.
Yeah, literally.
That like dental school literally cost $500,000 to go to for 4 years.
Crazy.
I cannot imagine
Where
doing
you would
that.
be right now. You would have to do it. Like, you would feel like, I gotta go be a dentist.
100%.
$500,000? You kidding?
And I just feel like when it's getting into that kind of debt
yeah.
and you know you're shaky on it,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll tell you what, the pandemic has been a blessing for me because all that stuff has been paused. So, because I had all undergrad free, but it was law school that I didn't get full. I
thought you got partial.
I got it. Yeah, but like, it's still partial in Malibu. Partial in Malibu ain't really that much. So, you know, I think, I love what you said. I am very thankful for my degree. It taught me so much that would have taken so long to learn. Like, I'm a better business owner because of it, and I'm thankful for it. But it's not one size fits all. You know, you don't have to go. And I went to the damn near the most expensive school that accepted me. You know,
Yeah.
like, I could have gone to.
You could have stayed in Nashville.
I literally could have gotten a full ride
Yeah.
at other places, but I didn't because I was like, no, the opportunities and the people and the placement of this school is what is calling me. And that's what I did. And I don't regret it. And I love to hear that you like utilize it and you have this foundation. You're not scared to say, hey, I'm going to use this when I need to. It's a tool in my tool chest to get me to where I want to go.
Yeah.
I think that's really beautiful. And that kind of closes out that resiliency, you know, in that.
I feel like the main thing is you just don't stop in the sense of like, even when it gets hard, even when you get tired, you have to remember your why. And I think that is what I stress to people the most. Don't be out here just doing stuff to be doing it. Like, have a reason to do it. Because like, even on days where it's like, I don't want to scrape teeth, but it's just like, it is literally keeping me out here where I can still follow my dream.
Yeah.
Your why will always keep you going.
I love it. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Okay. I have 4 things. I need you to tell me what your favorite are.
Okay.
Your favorite food, your favorite fashion brand right now that you're wearing, your favorite music artist,
What is going on?
and your favorite movie, which I know your movie is probably going to be the one that
all of these are hard. I'm too much of a foodie to like.
You got to choose one
even-
thing right now. Like, today is, where is today? Today is, I don't even know what today is. Is it Monday? Is it Sunday? It's Sunday.
Today's Saturday.
It's
today's Sunday?
I don't know.
Today is Sunday.
Today's Sunday. What
Wow.
is your favorite food today?
All right. I would say for today, ramen.
Ramen. What's your favorite fashion brand that you've been wearing a lot lately?
I've been wearing a lot of like Fear of God and Essentials because I've been on my chill stuff lately. Yeah.
Music, artists.
Summer Walker.
Summer Walker. Okay, and the movie. I know, this is a tough one.
Come on.
You got to choose something.
Come on.
Like, what's something that you've seen recently that you were like, okay, that's a vibe? Like, you were like really impressed by?
I'm just going to say I enjoy the Harry Potter series.
In general.
In general.
It
That's
didn't
my
come out
jam.
recently, but
I will watch that. I will watch Harry Potter any day.
I love Harry Potter. Okay. Thank you so much for coming on.
you for
When can
having
we
me.
watch the documentary Black Before Blue?
Yeah. It will be released October 3rd.
October 3rd. So we'll update. We'll put it out on the links.
Thank you.
October 3rd, Black
Yeah.
Before Blue. Sam Thomas, thank you so much.
Thank you, Raven.
Bye.
I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of you. Don't get sentimental.